This is how I know what markets I will be personally investing in. So, in real estate, there are several factors that go into what makes a good market, what makes a bad market, what makes a bad area to invest in. Here are just a couple of things that I look at. In order for someone to pay rent, they have to have a job. So, the first thing we should look at is unemployment rate. And obviously, these are just numbers, right? It's a different thing to go out in an area and feel out where you'll actually be investing. But how's the employment rate? What did that look like in the last 5 years? What's the population like in that area? Has it grown or declined in the last 5 years? What employers are in that area? Even the population age is extremely important. It shows, what kind of units to live in are in demand in that area. Is it mostly senior living? Then in that case, it'll be senior living facility that's in demand for the most part. If it's more middle class folks, or middle class in their age, whether it's between 30 and 45, they're going to be looking for more luxurious apartments, maybe even homes for their families instead of apartments. Another factor to consider is what employers are in the area and what percent of the workforce do they make up. So do you have, say for example, Publix is the biggest employer in that area and the next person employs only 1% of the population? Well, Publix is a very strong company, but if they go out of business, then all those people are out of work. And then we're looking at supply and demand. How many units were permitted? How many were delivered? What was the absorption rate? That's a little more complicated, but just the simple gist of supply and demand. Supply goes up if the demand is there, and if the demand is there, prices go up. If supply falls because the demand isn't there, then prices will come down or they would pretty much stabilize. A couple of other factors that I'm looking at is that space landlord friendly. Usually it's state by state basis instead of a county by county basis or by an MSA. How about the property tax? Any upcoming construction projects? More construction means more buildings, means more employees. And then the last thing that I like to look at before even entering a market is the median household income and the annual rent. In order for someone to pay your rent, typically rule of thumb is 2.5 to 3 times the annual rent. So if someone is making, or if the rent is $1,000 a month, that's $12,000 a year. They should be making anywhere between $30,000 and $36,000 to be able to meet that rent requirement. So those are just a couple of things that I look at before entering a market, because real estate is all about location, location, location.